All right, you guys, we're going to talk a little bit today about union, divine union, how to achieve divine union with your masculine. So this is for the divine feminines who identify with twin flame journey, especially those of you who've been on a journey for a while. But if you're new at this journey, if you're new here, welcome. This information is definitely going to be useful for you as well. It's going to be a bit of a continuation of what we discussed yesterday. I had a channel for you guys that I recorded and posted yesterday about 3 things that we need to master. So if you haven't seen that, go ahead and watch that. It's sort of gonna link, these 2 messages are linked to between each other. So I've mentioned in this video that you need master 3 things. One is yourself, your inner world, your shadow, your healing. So overall, your healing journey, that's what you have to master, right? Your shadows, your wounds, your traumas, your conditioning. The second thing that you have to master is your mission. We come with a mission. There's no divine feminine on a twin flame journey without a mission. We're here to live a life of service. So you have to tap into the energy of that mission and be prepared to carry that mission. Really know what your mission is, right? Really connect to the energy of your mission. And the third thing that you have to master is the connection with your masculine, to heal this connection with your masculine. And I've mentioned in this video that many feminines skip that because it's a very hard part, right? We are physical beings. We live in this human body. So we're constantly wanting this connection to come into fruition in the physical world. We want our masculine to return. We want to be with them. We want to love them, right? We want this to happen in the physical world. But as long as you, as a creatrix, are not able to heal this connection, it ain't gonna happen. And healing this connection means that you really understand how to detach, but how to deeply connect. And many feminists make the mistake, or they cannot fully comprehend this idea, and they disconnect themselves from the journey. They get into this mindset also because there's a lot of misinformation online, right? So they get into this mindset that this person was just an initiation and an awakening agent for you, which is true to a certain extent. And they focus so much on healing and on self, but they cut themselves away from the masculine. Like, I don't want it. It's because it's painful. It's painful. As long as there's a shred of shadow within you, it's going to be reflected in your connection with the masculine. But today, if you want to know more, watch that video. But today I want to break down to you, what does it really mean to heal this connection? What does it really mean? I don't want to go into the details of what it means to detach but deeply connect. If you have not mastered this concept yet, you can go to my YouTube. You're going to find a playlist there that it's called Divine Feminine Masterclass. It's a free playlist available for you to watch, 12 episodes that really break down everything you need to know about this connection. And one of these episodes talks specifically about connecting and attaching. 2 different concepts, very different, and we have to master both. The detachment, but the true connection. We cannot disconnect ourselves from the masculine. So if you want the union to come into fruition in a physical world, we have to understand, first of all, we are one, right? One consciousness, one chakra system, one soul, split into 2 bodies. We are sovereign. We are sovereign beings, right? But we divide ourselves into feminine and masculine because we have different role in the wholeness of our one soul, and we have different role in this connection. This journey is constantly teamwork. We are working together through this journey. We're walking this path together. This is why we have to stay deeply connected. But we have different roles and responsibilities, right? So the feminine, our dominion is the spirit realm. Our dominion is the 5D. We are the creatrix. We are, through the portal of our womb, the one that receives downloads, connects to the void, is the one that is oracle, that is high priestess, right? Is the deeply spiritual one whose mission is deeply related to spirituality, right? So the job of the feminine in this connection is to fully heal the soul, to collect literally the pieces of both of your souls and to heal them. This is why we oftentimes tap into the past lifetimes, remember past lifetimes, heal past lifetimes. We have to heal the soul. We have to master the inner world of the connection, right? We have to master this connection on a level of the soul. And because we are creatrix, everything that will ever exist in the physical world, it has to be created first on a level of the creatrix, on a level of energy, on a level of the soul, right? The role of the masculine. So we walk this journey with the veil lifted, right? The moment he awakens us, the moment our Kundalini awakens, we start the healing journey and we start to walk this path with the veil lifted. We remember, we see with this eye, not just with these eyes, whatever you're going to become on this journey. You may not necessarily, not all feminines, I covered this in my masterclass, not all feminines become psychic mediums, shamans, and readers, right? But we always see with this eye and with the heart, right? That's the role of the feminine. The role of the masculine on this journey, in the beginning, before his awakening that happens right before the union, right? I covered this in the masterclass as well. The role of the masculine is to lead in the physical world. His dominion is the physical world, the 3D world, right? So his role is to clear karma, is to break karmic patterns, is to learn through karmic relationships. We, because the veil is lifted, we gain the capacity to learn our lessons and to heal through looking into our souls and through seeing the reflection in our masculine, right? So we are immediately moving past the necessity that most people are bound with to heal through relationship, because again, we see beyond the veil. We start to look inside of ourselves. We don't need karmic relationships and karmic friendships and so on and so forth to learn our lessons. We become very self-conscious. It doesn't mean that we're not going to have certain, karmic people to still close, and we all learn through people, through our reflection, right? But it's not a core thing how for us how we do things. Whereas the masculine, he stays underneath the veil because he needs to stay in the matrix, because the physical world is his dominion, right? So he has to learn through the physical world. He really has to go down. As we go up and we ascend on our journey, connecting more and more to our soul, to our higher self, he goes down to the gunk of the matrix to really see the distortion of the matrix, because the role of the divine masculine in future, his mission is going to be linked to dissolving the matrix, to breaking the matrix, to fixing the physical world that we live in, right? Because he is the creator of the physical reality. So he really needs to understand the distortion. And that happens through karmic lessons, through karmic connections with shallow women, with connections that exist only on a shallow level, on a physical level, on the level of the ego, right? So through these connections, through his lessons, through so many tower moments that they have to go through, this is how they grow, this is how they learn, this is how they evolve, right? So going back to that, what I want you to understand is that on a level of self, as an individual sovereign being, when we are in a union, it means that our inner masculine and inner feminine are healed and they're working together beautifully. So we are able to create anything for ourselves through our masculine and feminine energy, the creatrix, right, of the feminine, and the action taker of the feminine. However, when we talk externally in between two people, so you and your masculine in this physical world, many feminines put the weight and the task of getting into union on the masculine, right? But it isn't true, because it's true that in the physical, the how and the when of your union, that's the task of your masculine. It is not your job description. I say it all the time. It is not our job description. It is for our masculine to figure out the how and the when. When he's ready, he will know. He will go for his Satori, immediate awakening, he will know, right? However, What many people are not seeing and not understanding is that we are the creatrix. So if you cannot create union between the two of you on a level of energy, on a level of spirit, he won't be able to ground it into existence. Because our divine masculines, the role of a divine masculine is to ground things into physical existence. But things that his divine feminine, his creatrix, created for the magic of her femininity, for the magic of our womb, for the chaos of creation, on a level of spirit, on a level of energy, right? So only when union is just a construct, only when union exists, because you create a union between the two of you on a level of energy, only then he will be able to take that and ground it into physical existence. So what it really means, I was speaking about this today on my stories and saying to you guys, sometimes it's so hard I feel these energies on a level of energy, of ideas, of downloads that I receive, and I really try my best to explain this to you in words so you understand. So I hope I'm succeeding in this task. But what we really mean is that there will be no physical union, okay, until a moment where the divine feminine, obviously you have to master your healing and you have to master your mission, but we talk about this third basket today. There will be no union until the feminine creates that union on a level of energy. So you have to reach the mindset and a state where you would have healed your connection between the two of you. There's no wanting, there's no resentment, there's no pain, there's no heartbreak, there's no separation, there's no disconnection. You really understand that your masculine is nothing else than the other half of your soul in another body. There's only love, there's only forgiveness, there's only acceptance. He's an extension of you. Right? So whatever, as long as there's anything negative towards him, it means that you feel it towards yourself. So on a level of self, you have to understand that we are one. But he is sovereign being. He has his freedom, right? So he can do whatever he wishes to do with his life, and it doesn't change how much you love him. You have no expectation, you have no demands, you have no disappointment, you have no urgency, right? Because he is sovereign being, and not just a sovereign being, but also through that you embody that you really find the meaning of your role in this connection, which means that you are submissive in the physical world to your divine masculine, right? Women are not submissive to anyone, and not in the spirit realm, right? But in the physical plane, to your true divine masculine, you have to be submissive, which means that you have to trust what he does in the physical. You have no superiority because he's the master of the mind and of the physical world. You're the master of the soul and of the spirit realm, right? So you have to reach a point when you live as if you were in union in the physical, when you live every day, you live your mission, you live your life as if you were already in union. Your connection between the both of you on a level of soul and on a level of energy has to be healed, and you have to reach that healing. Only then he will be able to take that energy and ground it into existence. So if you are living you can be healed. That's what we touched on in yesterday's video. You can be already healed. You can be already connected to your mission. But if you are living in a state that you don't really believe that it's going to happen, or you start to think that, oh, I deserve to be happy, I want to be aligned with a soulmate, or I don't want this connection, I don't want to think about him, or you find yourself in a place that you feel like, I deserve love, why is he not returning, I'm trying so hard. Entitlement, ego, resentment, it's not healed. It's not healed. You have to, it's going to sound crazy, but when you're ready, you're going to know. When you're ready, you're going to know what I mean, right? You have to live your life as if you're already in union and he literally left to pick up groceries or for a vacation, right? Who cares that he's not here in the physical? You already are in union. You already are in union. You're with him every day. You talk to him every day. Energetically, he's with you, right? So that's the best way I can explain this to you guys, because it's a difficult concept to achieve. It's a difficult, if you are in the beginning of this journey, if you're still very wounded, you're not going to understand it, or you're going to think it's crazy, or it's going to confuse you. You have to be ready. You have to be, this message for most part is going to be for feminines that you've somehow mastered your healing, and you somehow mastered, or you're mastering your mission. You cannot forget about this element. You cannot. If you as the creatrix are not able to create union, knowing that it's just a construct on a level of energy, on a level of soul, that your energies and your souls with your leadership live already in a complete synergy, in union, he will not be able to ground it into existence. I hope this was helpful. I hope it made sense. It's making sense in my head, but sometimes, like I said, I receive these downloads in energy, I embody them. I feel it, right? So sometimes it's so hard to explain, especially when you're not yet ready, especially when you haven't conquered certain things just yet. But if you feel like it makes sense, but not maybe necessarily, save this video, go back to it in 4 months, in 5 months, in a year. Maybe you'll find it relevant then. But again, it's a must. It's a must. You will never reach union with your divine masculine if you cannot alchemize union on a level of energy. Because again, it is just a construct. You have to give him something to work with and something to really truly ground, that he will be able to do that once he is ready, once he is healed, once he goes through his satori, and when the divine gives him a final go. And the how and the when, it just won't be ever in your job description. I love you so incredibly much. I hope this was helpful. If you feel that you need support in mastering that element on your journey, you can sign up for a session with me if you feel guided to. Link to my website is in my bio. You can sign up through my website. And yeah, I'm sending you so much love.